You can fool a person, you can mimic their voice, you can even steal their face. But some things can't be tricked. The dogs always bark. This phrase isn't just about canine instincts, it's about the primal signals that reveal deception and the truth that echoes even when everything else is obscured. Today, we're dissecting how subtle signs like dogs barking expose the limits of even the most advanced machines, and how in a world of lies, there's always something that gives you away. In the Terminator universe, the dogs always bark. It becomes a quiet reminder of how some truths are unavoidable. It's a symbol of resistance against the ever-adapting enemy, the unyielding machines. But it's also a signal to us, the viewers, that no matter how much you try to disguise yourself, there's always something you can't hide. Whether it's a dog that knows something's off or a gut feeling that tells you you're being lied to, these signals are an unbroken thread connecting the real with the unreal. This video is a breakdown of how, despite machines reaching new heights of deception, the truth is never completely concealed. From the mechanical mimicry of a T-1000 to real-world scenarios of espionage and deceit, we're exploring how the smallest things, the dogs and the details, can bring everything to light. In the Terminator franchise, every time we see a cybernetic organism, the dogs bark. Dogs play a critical role in the series as an early warning system. For example, when the T-1000 disguised as a human approaches, dogs immediately start barking. They sense what people can't, that something is deeply wrong. The machines may look human, sound human, and act human, but dogs with their primal instincts don't care about appearances. They respond to the underlying truth. This concept reflects a broader idea. No matter how sophisticated machines become, they'll always struggle to pass the primal test. They can't truly understand fear, loyalty, or love. These are qualities that, while intangible, are fundamental to human nature, and dogs sense a lack of them instinctively. This moment, though seemingly minor, is a genuine bit of storytelling. It reminds us that even in a world dominated by artificial intelligence and technological superiority, there's a level of perception that machines will never fully conquer. In espionage and warfare, the dog's barking metaphor is everywhere. It's the untrained gaze that instinctively notices a spy's stiff posture. It's the suspicious accountant who notices a discrepancy no algorithm could flag. The barking might not always be literal, but it's a signal that something isn't right. When humans try to deceive each other, they create subtle tells, micro-expressions, shifts in behavior, inconsistencies in story. These are the modern-day equivalents of a dog barking. Even the most advanced AI and machine learning algorithms can't grasp the nuances of human doubt or suspicion the way a human can. Just as the T-1000 can't stop the dogs from barking, modern-day technologies can't completely erase these tells. Dogs in this context aren't just physical creatures, they're symbolic. They represent the persistence of truth in a sea of lies. You can silence witnesses, destroy evidence, and rewrite history, but there will always be something, a fact, a memory, a voice, barking away at the falsehood, refusing to be silenced. The concept extends beyond science fiction. In oppressive regimes, the barking dogs are the few who speak out against tyranny. In digital warfare, they're rogue whistleblowers and hackers who expose corruption. The dogs always bark because some truths can't be erased, no matter how hard the deception tries. If we take this a step further, we can even apply this metaphor to human behavior and conflict. When someone is lying or hiding something, they often exhibit subtle signs, tells, that are the human equivalent of barking dogs. It's the way they shift their gaze. It's the tightening of their jaw. These are instincts that reveal inner turmoil, the body's subconscious response to deception. When somebody asks you a question like, "What are you?" it's not just an inquiry. It's a probe meant to provoke a reaction. If you're not what you claim to be, if you're hiding something, the dogs within you start barking. tiny involuntary signals that betray your facade. Even highly trained individuals can't suppress these responses completely. The T-1000 might be able to replicate the human form down to a molecular level, but it will never truly be able to replicate the tiny tells and instinctive reactions that a real human would exhibit. In a world dominated by fake news, deep fakes, and misinformation, the dog's barking metaphor is more relevant now than ever. With machines now capable of generating realistic yet false content, it's becoming increasingly difficult to tell truth from fiction. But just like in the film, there are always subtle tells, the dogs of the digital landscape that expose the lie. It's the unusual metadata, the inconsistent pixel pattern, and the digital footprint that doesn't quite match up. In the end, the truth reveals itself not through grand gestures, but through these tiny signals that machines can never fully hide. It's why deepfake detectors focus so much on micro expressions that give away artificiality, and why misinformation campaigns are often unraveled by obscure details. The phrase, "the dogs always bark," might seem simple, but it's packed with meaning. It's a reminder that no matter how advanced deception becomes, the truth has a way of making itself known. The dogs bark because they sense the incongruency, the disturbance in the fabric of reality, and no matter how much you try to silence them, they'll keep barking until the truth comes to light. So the next time you're faced with deception, remember, the dogs always bark. And if you're paying attention, you'll hear them. I've been Drex Hawkins. Thank you very much for watching. The truth keeps marching on, my friends.